is from the bruising battlefields of Ukraine. From the moment Russia rolled in its tanks in Ukraine, this war has been a testing ground for new and deadly weapons. From the thermite bombs to hypersonic missiles to weapons of all kinds and forms that are being tested in this conflict. Let me in fact show you this video. Now this is a scene from a Ukrainian town of Volodar. This is a quaint town that is located in the Donetsk Oblast. It shows what appear to be white flames that are incessantly raining down from the skies, causing destruction on a scale that simply cannot be imagined.
Та пока не попало. Если что, буду сбивать. В курсе. Да. Ну я ж не думав, що це по тим чувакам фосфор кинули.
This video has in fact gone viral online with multiple clips doing the rounds. The question is this: what exactly are these things and how lethal are they really? Now, reports say that they are incendiary bombs. Let me explain as to how they work. To start with, these bombs are launched from a BM-21 Grad system. There is a Soviet-era multiple launch rocket system. They are fitted inside of 122mm Grad 9M22S rocket. The warhead contains about 180 unfused incendiary elements. They are ejected when the missile is just a few hundred feet above its target. Each ML5 is a hexagonal-shaped magnesium casing packed with thermite-type pyrotechnic compositions, which is why, on first glance, they may look like fireworks. But make no mistake, these are not fireworks. These are bombs that are designed to ignite vegetation, fuel and buildings. Each bomb has a burn time of about 2 minutes to increase the chance of fire. These bombs are terrifying anyone who is unfortunate enough to be caught underneath them. They rain like white-hot flames, scorching the earth, leaving nowhere to hide for the people. And this is where things actually begin to get murkier. You see, the use of these kind of incendiary ammunition against civilian targets is outlawed by a United Nations treaty. This is a treaty that has been signed by Russia, Ukraine, and at least 123 other nations. But despite of this, such weapons have been used repeatedly by the Russian forces. In 2016, the Syrian opposition had accused Russia of using these bombs in the Syrian civil war. It said that the Bashar al-Assad regime was using these bombs to terrorize civilians. 6 years on, these bombs have been spotted again, and this time they've been spotted in Ukraine. The question is this: can something be done about the usage of these kind of weapons on civilian populations? The simple answer is not really. Now, these incendiary bombs are not alone. Ever since the war started, Ukraine has become a laboratory of sorts where death-dealing weapons are being tested. These are weapons that can cause mass casualties. Take the case of the Kh-22 missile. Now, this is some kind of an anti-ship missile. Russian bombers have been using them heavily. These missiles were primarily designed to destroy aircraft carriers, but they are being used in ground attacks with conventional warheads. And this makes them more dangerous. These missiles are also highly inaccurate, and therefore they end up causing severe collateral damage and casualties. Look at this headline now. It's from last month. This is when the Kh-22 missile struck a 9-storied building, reducing it to a smoldering debris. The Ukraine doesn't have the defense capabilities to shoot down these types of missiles, and that's not even the worst part. Look at this report. Last Thursday, Russia fired the hypersonic Kinzhal missiles on Ukraine, a nuclear-capable air-launched ballistic missile that has the capability to elude Kiev's air defenses at this moment. Kiev has got nothing to, in fact, stop these Kinzhal missiles. Russia reportedly launched about 6 of them, and all 6 of them struck their targets. Now, Kiev says that it simply hadn't seen an attack of this scale before. Look at this report now. Russia has also deployed a new type of Zircon hypersonic missile in the Atlantic. It is a potential weapon that is capable of penetrating any kind of anti-missile defense system. It flies 9 times faster than the speed of sound, and that too with a range of 1,000 kilometers. This speed makes the missile almost difficult, almost impossible to intercept. And then we have this report where earlier this month, Russia used a 1.5-ton glide bomb for the first time ever in this war. Now, this bomb that you're looking at on your screens is called the UPAB 1500V. In the first week of March, a host of these bombs were dropped in Ukraine, causing heavy damage. Now, for the unversed, these bombs are equipped with wings that help them glide towards their target, and they can destroy even hardened targets such as command posts or bunkers or any underground facilities for that matter. It's not just the Russians, even the Ukrainians have been handed some new weapons that are being tested out in the battlefield. But Ukraine's shenanigans rarely make global headlines. Now look at this report. It talks about how Ukraine has become a test bed for Western weapons and battlefield innovations, of how Ukraine is getting sophisticated American missiles to counter Russia's Soviet-era weapons. But where will all of this lead? No one at this moment can predict, because at this moment what is happening in the Russia-Ukraine war is that things are clearly getting out of hand. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Shalom. This is Har 1 Ban Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. When I say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem, Harakah Kwadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. I want to start off with a scripture, or two scriptures before I get into this article I want to read from the previous clip that you just saw of Russia dropping something called incendiary bombs or warheads over there in Ukraine, and it rained down like white fire from the sky. It's deep, man. Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming, man. All right, because these nations on this earth are being stirred up. The Lord, scriptures say the Lord stirring up the spirit of the Medes, getting them riled up to go to war with America. All right, go to war with the daughter of Babylon. Now, hell, that's what these nations are going to bring to this place, America, the daughter of Babylon. All right. It says, it stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised them up from their thrones, all the kings. So like, I'm gonna read that again. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. So all these nations like Russia and China, now they're starting to look towards putting nuclear subs all around the borders of the daughter of Babylon. You know, they're targeting their missiles towards this place. As of yesterday, what's his name, Kim Jong-un over there in North Korea, China put it out because North Korea is the watchdog or attack dog for China. All right, just like America was the attack dog for Europe, North Korea is the same for China. And they just put it out yesterday that North Korea can attack any target in America with ICBMs. So all these nations are going to target their warheads at America. This is in prophecy. All right, everyone that bendeth the bow, shoot at her. That's what's going to happen. That's prophecy. All right. Here's the article. It says here from Daily Mail News. The deadly thermite bombs. That's what Russia dropped. It's a new unveiled weapon that nobody's talking about. You know, the government and the media. We moved into the stage of, let me get this. Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. and garments rolled in blood, right? Up close wars that would be fought face to face. They would be able to look their enemies in the eyes. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, man. And that goes into World War III. All right, started off with World War I in 1914, and to World War II, which was the establishment of the nuclear age. World War I was the establishment of the planes and the technology and the means to be able to drop missiles from a plane. So the Lord's been building them up. It shows progression all the way up until their destruction, going into World War III, where they've, they basically trapped themselves, set a snare from themselves. Let me get that. Jeremiah 50:24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. See, when they established the nuclear age and brought in ICBM missiles and nuclear missiles after World War II with America and the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where they bombed them too with, I think, Fat Boy and Little Man. These missiles. Well, that opened up for the nuclear age and a nuclear arms race with Russia. And now they've raced all the way to this point. So the Lord laid that trap, right? The ones that roll a stone up a hill is going to roll back upon themselves. The ones that dig a ditch, they're going to fall into the ditch which they made. And the Edomites, they created this trap, this destruction. And it's all by the will and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The Lord put the thoughts into these. He said, I created the smith that blew up the coals in the fire. So the Lord created these German scientists to establish these missiles. And this war that's fought with fuel and fire. This war that's set up to melt people and cook them. That's what they're doing right now. All right. They got an area over there in Ukraine where they're sending troops to called the meat shop, the meat rack or something like that, the butcher shop, because they said once you go in that area, the missiles and bullets ripping flesh apart. Jeremiah 50 and 24 again. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, man. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. Yahweh hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. That goes into the ICBMs. For this is the work of Yahweh of the hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, man. All right, so this is what's to come. All right, and the reason I'm doing this lesson today is because when I saw this video that I played in the beginning, it is a telltale sign of what's to come, man. It's an example of how Russia and these other nations are going to be showering and raining down fire upon this place. All right. According to the scriptures, especially according to Revelation chapter 9, 200 million missiles, or 200 million warheads. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. And this is important because if you go into Revelation 16, this is a judgment that's going to come upon the third part of man. All right, I think it's in Revelation 18 or 16. You know, and the third part of man represents Esau, or the ungodly, you could say, ultimately. It's really focused on Esau, but then you also have 2/3 of Jake's that's being filtered in with Esau for the judgment. The Lord's going to number them to the slaughter. So you had the children of men, which are these nations, children of the wicked, and then you have the children of God. But 2/3 of the children of God are being grouped in with the wicked for destruction in this place. They are all the ones that have fought against the Lord's people. All right. But this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And that's kind of happening. An example of that is happening over there in Russia. Let's get to the article. All right, so it says here, the Daily Mail, the news from March 13th, 2023, all right, or March 14th. It says, the deadly thermite bombs Putin is using to bring hell to Ukraine. So what do you think they're going to do to bring hell to America, to Babylon? All right, so they call it thermite bombs. What's that? This is a thermite. It says, a mixture of finely powdered aluminum and iron oxide that produces a very high temperature of combustion used in welding and for incendiary bombs, a thermite grenade. Sheesh. So that picture, the video that we saw, I showed in the beginning, that's not fire coming down from the sky. Those are actual bombs, each one of them, that are released, and it actually warheads.
Let me in fact show you this video. Now this is a scene from a Ukrainian town of Volodar. This is a quaint town that is located in the Donetsk Oblast. It shows what appear to be white flames that are incessantly raining down from the skies, causing destruction on a scale that simply cannot be imagined.
Та пока не попало, пока не попало. Если что, буду сбивать. Кушай, кушай.
Look at that. Those are all bombs.
Да. Ну, я ж не думав, що це по трьом чоловікам фосфор кинули.
This video has in fact gone viral online with multiple clips doing the rounds. The question is this: what exactly are these things and how lethal are they really? The reports say that they are incendiary bombs. Let me explain as to how they work. To start with, these bombs are launched from a BM-21 Grad system. There is a Soviet-era multiple launch rocket system. They are fitted inside of a 122mm Grad 9M22S rocket. The warhead contains about 180 unfused incendiary elements. They're ejected when the missile is just a few hundred feet above its target. Each ML5 is a hexagonal-shaped magnesium casing.
All right, so you can see how vicious those bombs was raining down over there in Ukraine on the they call it a liberated city over in Ukraine. They rained down fire from the sky, man. What's that? Actual bombs, thermite bombs. It says the deadly thermite bombs Putin is using to bring hell to Ukraine. So what do you think they're gonna do to this place when all the nations are as they are together today, but going to war against Babylon, America? How destructive missiles spread, burning payload over wide. Let me read that correctly. How destructive missiles spread burning payload over wide areas and disintegrate victims' flesh. Disintegrate victims' flesh. Disintegrate victims' flesh. I'll read that again. Zechariah 14:12. This is the times we're in, man. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Today, Jerusalem represents the elect of Israel, but originally it's the Israelites. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. See, it didn't say the thermite bombs are doing that. The thermite bombs are burning and melting flesh. But what's to come real soon, when they shoot these ICBMs off, intercontinental ballistic missiles, when the warheads in it are the weight of a talent, meaning from 200 kilograms or whatever. I have to look at the weight to about 1,000. I think it's kilograms or pounds. I gotta look at it again. All right, it's gonna be huge, 200 million of them. So now it says here that what's to come, people's eyes are gonna be consuming in their heads and their mouth. That goes into radiation, all right, and thermal heat, not just something that can melt flesh, melt vegetation and infrastructure. But what's to come is going to be atomic, and it can melt organs. All right, melt the tongue, melt the eyes first, in a second, while a person stands upon their feet. The deadly thermite bombs Putin is using to bring hell to Ukraine, how destructive missiles spread burning payload over wide areas and disintegrate victims' flesh. It says Vladimir Putin is using deadly thermite bombs capable of burning through flesh to bring hell to Ukraine. It says, in the most recent example from over the weekend, Russian incendiary, let's get that word, incendiary. All right, so they're using incendiary thermite bombs. Let's see. Incendiary means of a device or attack designed to cause fires. Incendiary grenades, combustible. All right, fire producing. These incendiary bombs are light work or lightweight compared to what's to come. Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that blow up the coals in the fire. Those are German scientists and scientists today that's preparing these weapons, just like the Chinese people have. Russia has their scientists today. And that bringing forth an instrument for his work. And that instrument they came up with is these ICBM missiles, nuclear bombs. And I have created the waster to destroy. So the waster is set up to what? To destroy. All right, this is Joel 2:3. A fire devoureth before them. That's the ICBMs, man, something different, the waster. All right, different than these incendiary bombs that are set up to melt flesh, you know, and that's still lethal. A fire devoureth before them. It shows movement, you know, piercing through the sky, the elements, and the fire that comes from the warhead. And behind them, a flame burneth, man. That's that nuclear propulsion that they have in these missiles now. When they shoot off, so the fire comes from behind them. The land is as a garden of Eden before them. So the land look normal. You see America, you know, or a country or whatever, in its regular state and condition. And behind them, a desolate wilderness. So it's going to turn this place to a desert. All right, once the page turns. Yea, and nothing shall escape them, man. So anything in this place, when them ICBMs hit, when the waster destroys, nothing or nobody's going to escape. All right. the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. They're going to be AI controlled and controlled with satellites in formation. All right, so they're using incendiary bombs that can melt flesh and cause fires. But thermite bombs, then they're going to switch to nuclear destruction. All right, so let's read this. The footage which emerged overnight on Saturday to Sunday showed the deadly white flames illuminating the night sky over the town, lit up the whole night. All right. That's why the scriptures say the sun shall shine in the night. You know, it's going to be nighttime. Usually when it would be daytime, in the day it's going to be night, meaning dark. And in the night when it would be dark, it's going to be lit up with missiles. All right. Illuminating the night sky over the town, which had a pre-war population of 14,000 and crashing to earth in a residential neighborhood. Right, so they that's how it's going to be when they come to this place. Isaiah 13:17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. So the Lord is stirring up the Medes, meaning Russians today, against who? America and Europe. All right, now it says here, the Western Europeans, which shall not regard silver, so they ain't gonna want no money, no payoffs. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So there's no way you can pay Russia off right now. Russia is going to want to see America destroyed. All right, Babylon. I'll say Babylon. Their bows also shall dash young men to pieces. All right, so that scattering wind is going to separate people's bodies. And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, on babies, and their eyes shall not spare children. So when they see children in sight, they still gonna drop the missiles. Daycares anywhere, neighborhoods. Isaiah 14 and 22. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh. So they ain't gonna have no pity when they start dropping them missiles, just like they're doing now over in Ukraine. They have no pity on the children. Well, at least a little bit, because a lot of those people in Ukraine are Russians. But over here, they're Russian Edomites. But over here in Babylon, they're gonna have no pity. Everybody can get it. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water. So it can be a lake of fire. That's why I said pools of water. All right. It's going to be pools of fire. And I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith Yahweh. So it's going to be a sweeping fire and scattering wind that comes across this place. All right. Isaiah 13 and 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle, right? So all your nations coming together, and they're going to come together with their weapons as well. Like the new axis that's being formed with Russia, China, and Iran, and possibly Turkey and Africa. And now Saudi Arabia creeping up in there. They come from a far country. See, the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, also known as arrows in the Bible, that's shot from one country to the next and shakes the earth and cause fire to the land. Well, these incendiary bombs are different. That's lightweight compared to what's coming. And look how drastic and deadly the current situation is over there in Ukraine. They're melting the people's flesh, man. All right. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation. So all these weapons that are formed are created. They're created by the people that the Lord has formed on this earth. The generals, the scientists. So those are his weapons. The Lord, Yahweh. It says what? They're coming to what? To destroy the whole land. See, that's different. It says, howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Right, Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. See, not just little fires here and there. It's going to burn as an oven. I mean, the whole place going to be lit up. Lake of fire. And all the proud, see, 2/3, and these heathens, especially these heathens first. Well, 2/3. And all that do wickedly, the ungodly, shall be stubble. They're going to be in that fire. They're going to become part of the ground, part of the dust, part of the soil. The day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So, man, so they ain't going to have no pity on the fruit of the womb, or children, school areas, churches, whatever they want to call it, that they always sympathize with in this place. All right, so it says the footage which emerged overnight on Saturday to Sunday showed the deadly white flames. And that's pure fire when it turned white, illuminating the night sky. And you know, it's a chemical fire. The night sky over the town, which had a pre-war population of 14,000, and crashing to earth in a residential neighborhood. So they didn't care, man. People, residents, old people, young, it don't matter. This is a judgment from the Almighty. And the Lord is using these nations to bring that judgment upon this place. With a burning temperature of over 2,000 degrees Celsius. Ooh, burning temperature of 2,000 degrees Celsius. And I'm sure those ICBMs are more potent and stronger and a higher level temperature, burning temperature than 2,000 degrees Celsius. The weapons can easily set flammable surfaces alight and can burn human flesh down to the bone. Can burn human flesh down to the bone. Wow. This is Ezekiel 22:19. Thus saith Yahweh the power, because ye are all become dross, talking about 2/3, scum basically. Behold, therefore I will gather you in the midst of Jerusalem. Today they're being gathered here in Babylon. And as they gather silver and brass and iron and tin and lead, these are all alloys, not strong gold, into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. All right. Yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. So that's 2/3. That's still playing around, going against the Lord, being wicked in this society. They're going to get caught up with these ungodly heathens. All right. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh. I, Yahweh, have poured out my fury upon you. So it ain't going to be just burning flesh down to the bone. It's going to be burning the bone, everything down to dust. All right. So the level of war and tactical use and deadly attacks is going to increase. All right. It says, The payload spreads the munitions over a wide area to inflict maximum damage. So that's why you seen it like it was raining down hailstones. All right. While the use of incendiary weapons is permitted against military targets, the use of such weapons against civilian targets is a war crime under Protocol 3 of the Convention on Conventional Weapons, CCW. So they're saying that Russia's committing war crimes by dropping it on residential neighborhoods. Look at that, man. All I keep thinking about when I see that, like it's raining down stars. This is Luke 17:26. As in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the days of the Son of Man, right? So in the days of Noah, that was the first death with the water. Now the Lord is going to bring fire. They did eat, they drank, they married, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, also in the days of Lot, they did drink, they ate, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded, just like today, residential areas, you know. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, right, just like the same day that the elect get taken up into the chariots, or like Noah got into the ship, the ark, it rained fire. What? It rained fire. So what's coming to this place? Babylon's going to be raining fire, man. And brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be when the Son of Man is revealed. All right? So it's going to rain fire from the sky. All right? So with that in mind, it's impossible for you to count all the drops of rain. But the Lord knows all the drops of rain. Just like he knows all the ICBMs and warheads that's going to hit this place. Just like he knows all the hairs upon our head. Sirach 1 and 2. Who can number the sand of the sea? And the drops of rain, man. So the Lord is in the fourth dimension. He can number the things in this third dimension. The drops of rain, the sand upon the sea. And the days of eternity. Who can do that? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, and with that being said, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, through Yahushai, has let John the Revelator know exactly how many ICBMs or warheads are going to hit this place. All right, so who can number them? We couldn't. All John saw was stars falling. He couldn't count each one. In his visions, he seen nothing but stars falling from the heaven. He thought it was like something like the sky was falling. You know, being in ancient times and you see a video like you just saw with Russia dropping thermite bombs, you'll think the sky was falling, or stars were falling, and causing fires on the earth. But instead, the Lord said, what? It's going to be ICBMs, missiles. And we know that through prophecy. Let's get that real quick. All right. Revelations 1 and 1. The revelation of Yahushai, the revealing, which Yahweh gave to Yahushai to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, man. So these things are coming to pass. It's prophecy. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So these things were recorded. So let's get back to it. That's prophecy. All right. This is Revelation 9 and 16. 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, All right, it goes into Revelation 7. The angels are being held back to bring the destruction. For to slay the third part of men. The third part of men represents the ungodly. And in this sense, the third part of men would be the wicked, but 2/3 of our people are numbered with the wicked. These heathens are all numbered together as far as being ungodly as well. So this is the destruction for the ungodly that are in this place. Starting with the ambassador Esau. 16, the number of the horsemen, of the army of the horsemen, were 200,000. And I heard the number of them, that's 200 million. So the Lord gave John the understanding, the number. John didn't have to count the raindrops or the missiles. The Lord gave it to him and told him, he said, I heard it. And thus I saw the horses in the vision and them that sat on them, meaning being controlled, all right, that were ruling. So if you look at the missiles, you'll see Russia symbols on it. You look at the missiles, you'll see China symbols, you know, so who's controlling them? Having breastplates of fire and of jacinth, meaning it was made of metallic, and brimstone, so they filled up with brimstone, man, full of the Lord's wrath. What they call that, nuclear enrichment. I think they call it uranium. All right, and uranium is all around you in the air on an atomic level, and they pull it from that and create and collide them together, you know, and create the energy for these missiles. So the Lord gave the number of the warheads that's going to hit this place, and the number of them were 200 million. All right, from all these nations. So it's going to look like rain. They all being shot at the same time, or around the same time. It's going to look like rain falling, the stars falling from the sky. But it's not just going to cause small fires or melt skin and down to the bone. No, this is going to evaporate whatever it hits. It's going to cause an atomic explosion with a mushroom cloud. It's going to sweep across the whole surface of Babylon. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, all right, meaning power. Our horses are used in the battle. You know, in the ancient times, they were always used in the battle. And them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth, and brimstone, and heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. That's what lions destroy with their head. Just like a warhead, right? Nuclear warhead. And out of their mouths, meaning out of their front, issued fire and smoke and brimstone. So that's where the destruction comes from. Not from the back of the missile, but the warhead. So he heard 200 million actual missiles that had warheads in them. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So that's where the destruction is going to come from what's inside the missiles. All right, the payload, the package, or the warheads. For their power is in their mouth. If you look up mouth, it means the edge of a sword, the edge of a weapon. And in their tails, so their power is in their propulsion from being shot from one continent to the next, and in the destructive what's left behind it after it hits an area, which has not been seen on Earth except for World War II. For their tails are like unto serpents. That's why when they take off, you see a little trail behind them. and had heads, and with them they do hurt. All right, warheads. All right, so that's what's coming. But it ain't gonna look like this. It's gonna be actual huge missiles or warheads that shake the earth. That's the level of destruction that's coming. You know, the power is gonna come as a destruction from the Almighty, Yahweh. Look at that, man. They melting people's skin down to the bone. Okay, so I guess here they're showing how the actual warheads and missiles are shot off on a local level. How Russia's incendiary thermite missiles are bringing hell to Ukraine. So the ICBMs are going to bring hell to Babylon. The missiles burst over their target, raining down the burning thermite bombs. Each missile warhead is packed with 180 individual thermite bombs. See, one warhead can carry like individual bombs, man. 180. The Holy Lord says there's going to be 200 million. All right. It says each bomb is highly incendiary and designed to create large fires in areas with flammable material. And they go a range at this point of 25 miles range, a target. Incendiary missiles are launched from a BM-21 Grad MLRS system. Well, this is 2nd Ezra 16:11. Yahweh shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. These people are going to be beaten to powder, man, to dust. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, meaning completely destructive, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, man. So these arrows are going to be shot from one end of the earth to the next end of the earth. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is Job 20:22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall be upon him. Talking about upon Esau. When he is about to fill his belly with the new world order, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he's eating. So it can be like rain. Just like we saw that white flames or bombs coming from the sky. All right. That shit like the damn words moving on the screen of the Matrix. So Putin dropped so many damn missiles or bombs over there. All right. He shall flee from the iron weapon. So they're going to try to hide in America in bunkers, and they're going to try to hide over there in Europe. But the ones in America are not going to make it. Those bunkers are going to become ovens. And the bow of steel shall strike him through. That way, say it's sharp. It'll go all the way deep into the ground, to the soil. Like a lake is deep. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. See, it's drawn. They prepare it, then they shoot it off out of them silos. The body of the submarines, nuclear subs, and also from their land, from the surface. Russia has the power to shoot from their surface, from over there in Moscow. They can shoot missiles and land them here on the soils of America. North Korea has that same technology now. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. And from partial research I've done recently, you can see that America doesn't have that full capability. They have to take what do you call that? Aircraft carriers or submarines or bombers over there to Russia to actually destroy them with ICBMs. I heard they had that technology here on the soil, but I'm not sure if it can reach over there. But I know Russia has that technology, and North Korea does, where they can shoot ICBMs all the way over to America. Now, the only thing that would kind of contradict that thought would be the umbrella that Russia, America, and all these nations have. If somebody pushes the button, they all have an umbrella that's going to shoot off and drop missiles on these countries. So I don't know, you know. So it's showing you the low scale that they're doing right now is going to increase the mindset of these Russians. Right now they're using incendiary bombs to melt flesh of people. It said, despite this, Russia has shown no hesitation when it comes to launching incendiary weapon attacks on civilian areas. So they ain't showing no hesitation, they not playing. Several clips have emerged of such attacks showing flaming munitions being used to cause destruction on a mass scale, including a strike on the Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol in May, and on the town of Ozern in September. It is thought that the weapon used in the most recent video, as well as the other footage from Azovstal, Ozern, and elsewhere, is the 122 millimeter Grad 9M22's rocket, launched by the Soviet-era BM-21 Grad multiple launch rocket system. The warhead of the surface-to-surface 9M22 contains 180 unfused incendiary elements, which are ejected as the missile is a few hundred feet above its target. Now, Russia has another ICBM that can just disintegrate everything under it. It blows up, it doesn't even touch the ground. And they showed an example of that. I think it's called one of them, I think America or Russia has the mother of all bombs. I think Russia has the father of all bombs, and that's the one. It drops over the country and it disintegrates everything under it without destroying the people, but it destroys the infrastructure. All right. With the missile designed to ignite vegetation, so it can burn up all the vegetation over there, fuel and buildings, each munition has a burn time of at least 2 minutes to increase the chances of fires breaking out. The weapons are often confused with phosphorus munitions, so this is not phosphorus. Another type of deadly incendiary weapon, also used to create smoke and to illuminate large areas. All right. So this is meant to burn fuel, vegetation, infrastructure, and people. The effect is that which has been seen in several videos from Ukraine. From a distance, they look almost like fireworks as they burst across the sky. But for anyone underneath the detonation, it is a terrifying spectacle. Thousands of white-hot flames raining down, scorching the earth and leaving nowhere to hide. This is Isaiah 2:19. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks. So people gonna hide in these bunkers, man. They're gonna try to run from what's coming. And into the caves of the earth for fear of Yahweh, and for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth, man. And in that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. So they're going to cast those idols away. They're going to see that they can't save them. Their crosses, their crucifixes, their lucky charms, or whatever you want to call it. the cobblestones, it ain't gonna help them. Verse 21, to go into the clefts of the rocks. So they're going to have to leave everything and go hide in bunkers. And into the tops of the jagged, ragged rocks for the fear of Yahweh, for the glory of his majesty when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. This is Revelation 6 and 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. So he's going to shake the earth. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, meaning the smoke is going to be so thick, it's going to look like an afro going in front of the sun. Thick as sackcloth of hair. You know, thick like hair growing across and blocking the sun out. All right, darkness. And the moon shall become as blood. So even at nighttime, and if you see the blood, it represents pollution. So it's going to be that polluted that the moon is going to become like blood red from the radiation. And the stars of heaven fell upon the earth. That's why they call them the stars of heaven. They're like stars. It looked like the sky was falling. So it's going to be the stars of heaven. There's going to be 200 million of them. Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So when the Lord pushes these ICBMs to be dropped, that's when it's going to happen, according to his will. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. See, it's going to be mushroom clouds all over the place. And every mountain and isle were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth and great men, see, all the kings of the earth and the rich people and rich men, the chief captains and the mighty men and politicians, and every bondman and every free man, all right, upper class, lower class, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. So they're going to be hiding in these bunkers, you know. In the cities, they're going to have certain bunkers where everybody can go to. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us. So they're going to try to hide underground. And hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of Yahweh, of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So they ain't going to have nowhere to run. All right, so it says the effect is that which has been seen in several videos from Ukraine. From a distance, they look almost like fireworks as they burst across the sky. But for anyone underneath the detonation, it is a terrifying spectacle. Thousands of white hot flames rain down, scorching the earth, leaving nowhere to hide. Job 18 and 14. His confidence, talking about Esau's pride, shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. So they ain't gonna have no power in this place, no strength in Babylon. All right, especially in the war or economic war or whatever, they're gonna see that their confidence is being rooted out. And it shall bring him to the king of terrors, man. So Yahweh is the king of terrors. All right. And it shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. So the Lord is going to scatter it like rain all over the place. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his roots be cut off. All right, so his roots going to be dried up. Talking about the foundation at the home base, the military, everything they're doing here in America, or Babylon. But their branches, meaning how far they extend out into the earth, they're going to be cut off. Their military. Luke 21, or their power in the earth. Their power at home is going to be cut off, and their power in the earth is going to be cut off. Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's heart failing them for fear. See, they looking up, seeing that terrifying fire coming from the sky, man. Men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. All right, and the powers of heaven represent not only these kingdoms, but ultimately the sun, moon, the stars, and the earth. That's how powerful these weapons are going to hit. It's going to shake the earth. All right, it says CCW Protocol, the Convention of Certain Conventional Weapons, signed in 1980, defines incendiary weapons as any weapon of munition which is primarily designed to set fire to objects or to cause burn injury to persons through the action of flame, heat, or a combination thereof, produced by a chemical reaction of a substance delivered on the target. Right. This is Psalms 11 and 4. Yahweh, that's like a wrong one. Yeah, verse 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares. See, that snare, the missiles, fire and brimstone. So it can be a mingled chemical reaction. Fire, it brings heat and burning, and the light factor. And then you've got brimstone, which is the melting part. Lava, turn into a lake of fire. And then horrible tempest, that's the winds. All right, scattering winds. It was called nuclear winds. The blast. This shall be the portion of their cup. It's mainly for the wicked that are in this place. So if 2/3 are counted with them, they're going to be destroyed here too and be separated. Once the missiles hit, it's going to scatter their body, melt them while they stand upon their feet. They're going to be looking right at it. It's going to burn their eyes and their head and melt their tongue and their mouth and melt their body down past the bone, turn them into dust. That's what's coming. It's going to rain down, just like we saw Russia raining down those incendiary weapons over Ukraine. Revelation 16 and 17, and the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, "It is done." So this is the time. Once they finally go to World War III and they bring in the big guns, that's it, man. It's going to say it's done. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake. See, the Lord going to shake the earth, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. 200 million ICBM missiles. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. So America's divided into 3 levels of judgment: for the wicked, for the children of men, the children of the wicked, and the children of God, which are Israelites. But 2/3 are going to be separated from the sons of God, you know, and put with the wicked so they can be destroyed. The Lord gonna move them to the left. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, right? And the cities of the nations fell. Right, so all the cities are gonna fall here. And so we're seeing that now. And great Babylon came into remembrance before Yahweh to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. All right. And there fell upon men great hail out of heaven, man. They're gonna look like hail falling out of the sky. Every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blaspheme Yahweh because of the plague of hail For the plague thereof was exceeding great. It's gonna look like rain. And people gonna be scared as hell. You know, still calling on their idols. All right, dimensions. The W80 is physically quite small. The physics package itself is about the size of a conventional MK81 250 pound 110 kilogram bomb. So the kilograms and pounds, that's what they go by. All right, so those ICBMs warheads can weigh from 100 kilograms to 1,000 or 2,000 or even hundreds of thousands of pounds. All right, so each warhead is going to have some weight to it. I mean, it got a lot of chemicals in it. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 5:22. And hailstones. So it's going to be like hailstones, not just one or two. It's going to be like raining down all over the place. You know, it's going to be overwhelming. And hailstones full of wrath, full of the Lord's wrath. So it's going to be filled up to the brim with all that nuclear, chemical, destructive power inside of it, causing them to weigh so much. Shall be cast out of a stone bow. So that the warhead is going to be cast out of the actual missile. And the waters of the sea shall rage against them. They're going to cause tsunamis. And the flood shall cruelly drown them. Yea, a mighty wind shall stand up against them. That's the nuclear blast. And like a storm shall blow them away. Thus iniquity shall lay waste the whole earth. All right, the whole land of this place. Destroy the whole land. All right, Babylon. That's what's coming. So, and ill dealing shall overthrow the thrones of the mighty.